Welcome to the Chillcast with Anji B. I'm here in the Lovespirals studio with a very special guest tonight, musician, producer, Ryan Lum.
What's up, Angie?
Hey. So actually, Ryan and I are Lovespirals, and first of all, I want to apologize. I know it's been 2 years since I've recorded a new episode, but Ryan and I have a really great reason to get back into podcasting today, and that is because we have dropped a new Lovespirals EP called Smile. So I'm pretty excited to be here, and I'm really happy to have Ryan here as well.
Yeah, I'm happy too to be talking about our new EP, Smile. There's a lot to say. It's quite a different release for us, I'd say.
So not only are we going to be listening to the 3 tracks from the Lovespirals single Smile, but also a few other tracks from our history, as well as quite a few bands and songs that have inspired us along the way. So this is going to be pretty exciting.
So let's get the music flowing here. Let's start off, let's say, with the title track of our album, Smile.
Let's do it.
Just nod and smile. My smile may be pretty, but it's all filled with lies. And if you look closely, see, doesn't reach my eyes.
That was Smile by Lovespirals from the Smile single, available now on all digital platforms, including Spotify and Apple Music. And as well, we also just dropped a music video for it on YouTube. So Ryan, let's go ahead and get into like the nuts and bolts of the song, you know, the songwriting process, inspiration, and all that fun stuff.
Every album, even though it's just a 3-song EP, but every album I always have like some kind of like sound inspiration, like a musical fantasy that that's in my head and I'm trying to create in our studio here. And this time it came from a very different inspiration from any of our other albums. It's primarily from listening to a lot of music from South Korea over the past few years with you.
The last 3 episodes of the Chillcast definitely showed that I was getting into Korean music. But yeah, since that time, I have done an extremely deep dive. And first I thought you might think that I was nuts, but you definitely ended up coming along on the ride with me, and you've actually explored and discovered some bands that I had not. So we've both been on this little journey together.
Yeah, I have to say the past like year and a half for me has been revolutionary. I can't actually, without parallel, I can't think of any time in my entire music making career that I've had so many good new songs I've discovered in such a rapid succession. Like, you know, in a good year, past few years, see if I could find 1 or 2 good songs, but I'm finding like 1 or 2 a week. But anyway, let's talk about like Smile, because a lot of people might say like Smile. It doesn't sound like a Korean song. It's definitely, we have to say, like, when people think Korean, they hear Korean music, we're not talking about K-pop.
No.
You know, in fact, that's kind of what pulled us into it. But we'll
get into that a little bit later.
But yeah, we're more into something called K-indie. It's just the elements that I found in Korean music were so like just natural for me. It wasn't like landing on Mars, like how I feel when I hear a lot of like new music from new bands. It just had a lot of sounds that were just like instinctive for me. I just knew what was going on. So we're listening to a Cozy Pop album one time. I go, hey babe, what would happen if the vocals were all in English?
Oh, I think you're talking about when you heard Nutty, right?
Yeah, the Nutty EP. I'm going, wow, I think there's some room for exploration there. And that's kind of like, yeah, what was, inspired me to make the songs for Smile.
Yeah, well, actually, Smile, didn't you already were working on this chord progression sometime before you had this epiphany, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, Smile, I had this chord change worked out for years. I've been jamming at the studio for years. I even had that really cool ending for the song too. That's why I usually don't have like really elaborate endings, but this one it was all ready because I've been working on the song for years. When I start hearing the South Korean indie songs, I go, this is the perfect genre, the perfect way to surround the song. Like, you have the chord changes. What are you going to do? In the past, I would have been tempted to do more like a straight up kind of classic jazz sort of thing, because these are jazz chord changes. But when I saw the Koreans did, they were able to bring in jazz chord changes and bring them in a context where it doesn't really sound like jazz music. It just sounds like contemporary electronic pop music.
Why don't we give them an example of what we're talking about here? So you'd mentioned Cozy Pop. I discovered the Cozy Pop label in 2019. I really enjoyed exploring all their various compilations. And there's one track on one of the 2019 compilations called Soul Vibes Part 6, which both of us really enjoyed a lot.
That's one of my favorite South Korean songs we discovered. It's called Hello Mal.
Yeah, it says featuring Now Soul Night on the credits, so I'm assuming that's the name of the artist that did this song. So let's check it out. Hello Mal.
Yeah, that song and solo are so badass, and people who know my dream pop background will see right away why I'm attracted to a song like that. Like, I think you said that's like something like you have done maybe back in the Lovespirals Downwards days on like Ever or something.
Yeah, it
that.
It really sounds like the tone that you use on like Ever and Flux with those big soaring solos. And I think for me that it seemed really revolutionary to realize that these young producers in South Korea seemed really intimately familiar with like 90s dream pop and shoegazer music. This is just one example of many.
You'll see, this is what has amazed me about the Korean producers, is that they have like no qualms or fears or any trepidations whatsoever just to mush and mix genres together. And they're mixing genres together, at least the ones I'm liking, the songs I'm liking, that I really dig. Like, they're alive and well in Korea. Like, as you heard here, it's this cool like electronica, down-tempo, jazzy kind of tune, and with this dream pop guitar solo, I'm going, yes, I'm all in. Let me hear more of this stuff.
So you mentioned earlier about how before in our career we have explored jazz in several different forms, but we tended to go a little bit more traditional. And before we sat down to record this, you brought up the song Soy Dad from the Anji B solo album. Solo album, it's just Lovespirals being released as Anji B, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So Love Me, Leave Me album. And we thought that we were being pretty modern on this jazz song because it's got kind of like that Brazilian chill kind of vibe going on here. But it does seem like there's a lot of Brazilian influence also in K-indie as well. But so Ryan suggested that we play this song for you as well, so you kind of get like, you could see where we were before as we were trying to inject more jazz into our music.
All right, let's go back to 2013.
Yeah, and listen carefully. You'll hear Ryan singing.
Like a vine clings to a tree, how your memory clings to me, pulling me back like a ship out to sea.
That was Soy Dad by Anji B from the Love Me, Leave Me album, 2013.
Yeah, it's cool to give that song a new life. It actually makes a lot of sense in context with the new songs from our Smile EP.
Yeah, I remember still, like, even on our very first album back in 2002, I remember I was really trying to get you to do like a Brazilian thing. And, we were so new at jazz back then. The jazz songs on our first album are very, very traditional sounding. So it's been fun to explore. God, over 20 years now? For 20 years we've been trying to explore how to combine jazz and electronica and dream pop. That's totally been our thing.
I thought it'd be interesting to show a song from 2019 that didn't get released to our regular fans. It was a remix we did for a fellow friends band, Karma Coda, who have been on your Chillcast show many times.
Oh my gosh, the only reason I know Karma Coda is from the Chillcast. They were like one of the first bands I discovered way back in 2006 or 7. And we became close friends, all of us. So it was great to work on another song with them.
Yeah, and I kind of forgot about this song. We made it really quick, did the remix, and sent it to them. They released it back in 2019. I haven't really thought about it until like a few months ago. And I remember listening to it. I think we were just streaming it online on like Apple Music. And I'm just going, wow, this song's really cool. Like, I want to hear it again. I think I played it 3 times in a row. I was going, wow, I forgot how badass that song was. And it just kind of shows already that the transition we were making away from the sound we had on our last album, Life Goes On, to where we're heading now. So well, let's check it out. I bet most of our listeners probably never heard this one.
It's possible. Yeah, so this is Karma Coda, My Love, the Lovespirals remix.
So set your spirit free. I'll find you in the sheets. Just close your eyes, you'll see.
That was My Love, Lovespirals remix from Karma Coda Revealed Intimate Remixes.
I remember when we listened to that song 3 times in a row that night, I said, I can't remember for the life of me what the original sounded like, and we put it on and I was like, wow, it's so different. And it's because when I do remixes, often like I don't keep the song the same. I'll make a whole new chord progression, or if it's a major keyed song, I'll make it a minor keyed song. So yeah, it's a whole new song basically. Like the funky bass line, the funk guitar, are all new. I recorded those myself, and yeah, you added vocals to it as well.
Yeah, you have a very different remix style. Like a lot of times people will try to take a song and make it into a different genre. Like take in this case, like a trip hop song and make it like a deep house song. And then like maybe only use like samples of the vocals or something. But you pretty much stayed within the genre and the same time signature, although you changed the drums quite a bit, I seem to recall.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried. I'll keep the song usually the same tempo, but I'll change the chords all around, which will change the vibe of the song big time. Yeah, you guys got to check out the original version of it. It sounds nothing like the remix.
Yeah, you really smoothed it out and brought more of a soulful feeling to it.
Yeah, that's kind of just what I do instinctively. Yeah. So
that track came out in 2019, and that is right at the time when you and I, Ryan, both got into BTS. So we were a little bit late to the BTS phenomena, although we still seem to be quite a bit early for US fans, because they've only gotten like ginormously, outrageously popular since then.
I consider them, at least for me, kind of like the gateway drug into K-indie, because like, I mean, there's some great BTS songs. Don't get me wrong, guys. There's some really good BTS songs. It just typically, my favorites are the ones that you really hear on the radio all that often usually. But anyway, that's what led us to find all the K-indie as well, which is kind of I guess gets overshadowed in the overall world because of the phenomenon of K-pop.
As ourselves, we've often talked about like the night that we got into BTS. It's funny too, because the first song that we consciously listened to, I mean, according to Spotify, the first one I heard was Fake Love, which is still one of my favorites.
Great song.
In 2018, and I don't understand why I didn't stan them immediately after hearing Fake Love on Spotify, but the night that we did start standing BTS was when they came on to SNL. So, we watched Boy With Love and Mic Drop, and then we're like, what else do these guys do? So we ended up seeing the DNA video, which blew our minds.
Yeah, amazing song, choreo, and video.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Yeah, and then we saw Fake Love, which to this day, like I said, is still one of my favorites. And then I think we saw J-Hope Daydream, which we listened to the Hope World EP so much after discovering that.
That's an amazing album. Yeah, if you guys haven't heard that.
It's so incredible. And then we watched the Singularity video, which I remember specifically I said, oh, I don't stand a chance. That song and that video is so good. So we were like, wow, okay, BTS is not what I thought at all. Like, when you listen to how sophisticated a song like Singularity is, you don't think like, oh, this is a boy band.
No, I mean, the production on Singularity is amazing. The instrumentation, the musicianship. I mean, if I had my name on that as the producer or anything, I'd die happy, man. It's really top notch.
I was absolutely obsessed after that. And, you know, we got tickets to the concert that was happening just like 2 months later, and got to see Singularity done in person, which it's even more soulful and jazzy in person. I was blown away. So I absolutely have to include that song in this set. So that was Singularity by BTS, specifically intro Singularity from the Love Yourself Tear album from 2018, though it is also on the Love Yourself Answer album as just Singularity.
Guys, just stop what you're doing and go watch the YouTube video. It's another one of those slam dunks of perfect song, video, choreo.
The choreography is so good.
Yeah. Typically on our albums, even though this is just a 3-song EP, we usually have like a blues song, even though it's not like straight up 12-bar Chicago blues or something like that, but a very, you know, bluesy, soulful inspired song. I'm pretty sure listening to Singularity so much inspired me to make some kind of like neo soul, like blues kind of tune, which, you know, I'm always, I was trying to do that on our last album a little bit with like Life Goes On, the title track.
Yeah.
And so on this album, Why Not Today is what kind of came out after listening to Singularity and just starting to get that Korean influence, just the subtle early days of K-indie influence.
Yeah, Taehyung has another solo song from the Wings album called Stigma, which I think, you know, this Why Not Today reminds me a little bit of that as well. I should mention that Why Not Today was actually released as a standalone single on Bandcamp only in 2021, and also a music video on YouTube. This is just like an ever so slightly different mix, isn't it?
Actually, I just corrected a little. I perceived a little flaw in the mix at the end, and just maybe a little bit more reverb on the horns. But I love this song. Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, it's a very yeah, it hits the spot, you know. It came out during pretty much the whole like lockdown, quarantine time.
I feel like my lyrics really do speak to that, and I guess I've kind of copped out by not talking about my lyrics at all so far. But I think, you know, Why Not Today was the right song to come out during, you know, the COVID quarantine period. So it's a real gut bucket number. It's gonna hit you right in the feels. Let's check it out. This is Why Not Today by Lovespirals.
Why not today? Why not today? I've waited patiently, but I have yet to see joy wing its way to me.
I always laugh when I hear our songs and the songs that influenced ours, because ours always end up sounding even like more sad and dreamy.
Oh, then Singularity?
Yeah, it's just kind of like my thing. I think I'm just always like trying to find those like the saddest notes, the most gut buckety notes to hit.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, speaking of gut bucket, I mean, you know, I wrote that song, or, you know, I wrote my lyrics and I sang them, but still, like, certain lines, when I hit them, I just like, like, this pain is so palpable. You know, I love the way that Why Not Today follows Smile, actually, on the EP. Like, Why Not Today was already already a really like I don't want to say a dark song, but it's kind of dark, but you really notice the darkness of Why Not Today coming right after Smile.
Yeah.
So definitely please go out and listen to the EP in the order that we have it, just so you get the full effect of the 3 songs set list.
Yeah,
I would appreciate that.
The order really is powerful.
Yeah. We would be completely remiss not to bring up Baekhyun.
Oh yeah, Baekhyun. Yeah, he's
masterful.
Yeah, going back to our previous Love Spirals albums, yeah, I would have like an ideal in my mind of like perfection. Like for a few of our albums, maybe it would be like Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here." An album just that's perfect. All the songwriting, the mixing, the production, everything. And years before that, Cocteau Twins. And when I heard Baekhyun, I was going, oh my god, this is the gold standard here. Everything is so good. You can hear his voice. First of all, he's a super talented vocalist. He's one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. And the way they record him, though, they don't cut all the low end out like they do in most pop vocals. You hear all the low end frequencies and just the techniques that they use to record and mix. And the musicianship. Gee, his guitar player is like my new. I don't know who he is.
I know, we've been trying to find out and we cannot figure it out.
Yeah, he's this amazing jazz blues player, like one of the best I've heard. Maybe he's up there. So anyway, this is like a song. When I first heard it, I go, oh my god, this is where I want to aim now. If we could produce a song that sounds like one half as good as this, I'll be pretty happy.
I know, absolutely. Before we play it, I do want to mention too that he's from a hugely popular K-pop group called EXO, which I never really got into EXO, but once Baekhyun started dropping these solo EPs leading into him going into the army, which is a whole other conversation, I was just like, wow, this guy is amazing. And I was like totally worshiping him, listening to him all the time. And then when it turned out that you recognized his genius too, I was like, okay, yeah, I was right. I was like, Ryan and I both really like Jungkook's vocals from BTS, but sometimes I think Baekhyun may be better than Jungkook.
They're definitely on the same plateau there, yeah.
Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and listen to Love Again. This is from Delight, the second mini album from 2020.
Wow, song is so amazing. I mean, again, amazing guitar line, amazing vocal. This is another song I love to play on guitar all the time.
It's so good. And you know, if you've listened to my show in the past, you probably have noticed that I like a certain type of male vocalist. You know, we didn't even mention Baekhyun's range earlier, by the way.
He's got it in spades. Yeah.
Yeah. And Colt has got an amazing voice too. It's like, it's different from Baekhyun, but also can just take you to these emotional places that, like, I don't necessarily need to know all the lyrics to understand what kind of emotion I should be feeling when I'm hearing these songs. I guess that's something that we haven't really talked about too much here, as I don't find it strange at all to listen to songs in Korean.
No, me either, especially, you know, me coming from like listening to like Cocteau Twins and Dead Can Dance. I'm quite used to that. Not hearing a full English song necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of my sisters have been like, what are they saying? It's like, I mean, I don't need to know specifically what a person is saying lyrically to understand, like, the emotion. Like, I'm responding to the sounds and the feelings, and I feel like I understand enough. But, you know, it's the modern age. I can just go look on Genius to see the English translations of things if I really need to know what they're about. And that was one of the things that was actually fun for me as a BTS fan, was to go and find out what it was they were saying and to be like, now I like the song even more, you know? This actually provides kind of a good segue, unless you had something else to say about Cold.
I could talk about Cold all day, but
I know, he's so good. I could easily do a whole set of Cold so easily. But, you know, as the more that I was, you know, getting drawn into all the K-indie and whatnot, it seemed like it's just crazy. It's really crazy how suggestion engines work. But I started to get songs where I would really look up, wait, is this person actually Korean? Because they're singing in English and their name is Jimmy Brown. No, seriously, I started getting into this guy, Jimmy Brown, who once again is just this amazing vocalist. He's got this falsetto that could rival, you know, The Weeknd or whatever. But I picked a song for us tonight that is very much in line with what we were just listening to. Jazzy guitar. God, I'm really loving Candy so much. But let's go ahead and check out Irene. That was Irene from the Irene EP by Jamie Brown, which was released in 2020, as it happens. Once again, just like such a great combo of guitar and voice. I really love that reverb they've got on the guitar. It's just such a nice, chill vibe, isn't it?
And hopefully, guys, if you're hearing this kind of music for the first time, you're noticing there's just like this connection between all the songs. Like, you know, they've got these cool, you know, jazzy chord changes, but when you hear the song, you don't think, oh, I'm listening to a jazz song. It's just like a modern pop song, and they mix in elements from other genres too, like hip hop, R&B, soul, sometimes dream pop.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually got another song quite well in that exact vein. And you know, you've talked to me before about how you've kind of noticed, and then once you told me, I started noticing it too. There seems to be like preferred
jazz chord changes.
Yeah, preferred chord progressions. I was gonna say
exactly. Yeah. The song we just heard, and I think the next one we're gonna play have pretty much that same chord. And this is one I don't know the names of them, but this is like there's like 3 or 4 that get used quite frequently in K-Indie, and this is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this next song is also from 2020, and like you said before, you might have mentioned it earlier in the show, like the stuff that we like from Korea is always listed as R&B soul. And not listed as K-pop. No. So the next track we're going to hear is Tiny Hole featuring Gecko from a guy called Sunze. That was Sunze with Tiny Hole featuring Gecko from a Drive File 2 single.
It's funny, we haven't mentioned the name John Mayer yet. You know, I've been a huge John Mayer fan of his guitar playing for years. Strangely enough, or not so strangely, the Korean music that we're listening to often has John Mayer type guitar bits, like, you know, chord changes, solos like you may have heard here. I mean, we could show more songs that even have more of a direct John Mayer influence.
God. I could make a whole set of what seems to be John Mayer influenced Korean music.
Though. I don't understand what's going on in South Korea. Like every type of music style that I've been passionately into for my whole pretty much adult life is representing in Korean music right now, current new music, and they're mixing them all together in this beautiful, delicious stew.
A kimchi stew?
Yeah, I guess so.
I really hope you guys have been enjoying this weird musical journey that we've been going on here tonight, and I really hope that you will discover some new music that you can feel passionate about as well. But it's been so fun talking to you guys about, you know, what we've secretly been listening to for the past 2.5 years.
Guess it's not so secret now.
Yeah, the secret's out.
But so, yeah, speaking about like the chord changes that you hear often, I guess I couldn't help myself to actually try my hand at making a song using one of those like chord progressions that you hear. That led to our song Down Low, the closer of our EP, which is kind of interesting song. It's like I really love this song. It might be my favorite of the EP, perhaps. It's definitely borrowing from that K-Indie style that we've been into. Yet it still sounds like a Lovespirals dream pop song. I mean, it takes a turn into dream pop once you get maybe halfway into the song. I just love how it does what good K-Indie music does, fusing genres together effortlessly, like they just belong together. And I think I hit it on this one.
I especially love your guitar solo at the end, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off more or less here so that we can just close you out with the track Down Low from the Smile EP by our band Lovespirals. We would definitely love to continue these conversations in the future. So come find us, follow us, hit us up, let us know what you thought.
Yeah, definitely let us know what you think. And yeah, I guess we're gonna let them go with this, the closer, as you drift off into your day or evening. Hopefully my guitars will, which I'm super proud of, will send you soaring into the rest of your day.
Awesome. So AnjiB.com, lovespirals.com. See you on the other side.